Hey guys, I come back, and today I want to have a conversation, or I'm trying to have a conversation or start a conversation within my community. Why does that sound like those Black Americans that like to talk about the Black community and but honestly, I'm talking to my Oshiwambo community, my people from the north, because the topic I want to talk about today, or have a conversation about today, I feel like it's something that affects us now, because it is our generation that is mostly getting married now. Or if you don't have someone that is getting married in your circle, you know, there's always someone that is having a baby. And so I feel like it affects us now as young adults that are mostly the ones getting married now, and even in the near future, it's going to affect us as, you know, parents. Okay, what is it that I'm talking about? I want to address or have a conversation about the 2 days receptions that we have at our weddings. You know, people from the north, the Vambos, our Vambo weddings. What, honestly, because I personally do not understand why we are still doing that. I do not understand why it is compulsory. I just don't get the whole concept, and I've really tried. I'm someone that really tries to have conversations about these things, especially with elders. I've gotten so many reasons now, but the thing is, none of those reasons are valid enough to convince me that this thing is really important and that it cannot be an option, you know, for those that don't want to do it. Okay, so what if we adopt a 1-day reception for our Vambo weddings? Why doesn't this thing want to focus? Okay, so my question is, just imagine if we adopt the 1-day reception, the amount of trouble that can save, you know, a bride to be or groom to be, you know, someone that is getting married. And the trouble, the costs, there's so much benefit in this. And so I am also, you know, does Clubhouse still exist? Because I was thinking that those people maybe can invite Dr. Mbenzi to come and just, you know, so we can tap into his wisdom on this, you know, particular topic. So we just see how we can go around it, because I feel like we should really talk about this more often. And I am not saying that, you know, we should completely do away with it, because maybe some people like it and some people understand the value in it. I am just saying, can we make it an option for those that don't want to have 2 receptions, just do 1? And I've been wanting to record this video for ever since last year, and I just never got to do it. And today specifically I decided to do it. I just got home from, you know, somewhere, and I decided to do it because today alone I had, you know, I had 4 conversations with 4 different people, you know, about this same thing. 2 are brides to be that are getting married this year, and the 3rd person is a groom to be, and the 4th is just a friend of mine. I don't even know how this topic came about, but yeah. And with all these people, we share the same sentiment to say, honestly, this thing, it's stressing most people that are, you know, are getting married, or people that are trying to get married. And it's also a setback for most people, you know, because some people are really ready to get married, but they can't go forward with that or take that step because they feel like they cannot afford, you know, a Vambo wedding. And also, you know, I just feel like there's so much pressure in getting married in my culture that really put our people into a space where they feel like they cannot get married, even though they really, really want to and believe in marriage. Okay, so I want to just quickly say the few reasons that I got from the elders that I've spoken to about this particular topic, and why I feel like those reasons are not good enough for us not to be allowed to have one reception. Reason number one I was given was that the reason people have two receptions is because the parents from both sides, right, take imbale, like that basket that the Vambos carry when they are going to visit someone, and in it always has some kind of gifts, or what we call onlongelo. So what happens is, the day of the actual wedding, the reception one day, the day that you go to church, the parents from the grooms send someone, because they are not allowed to go to the lady's place, right, or lady's house. So they send someone that carries this imbale, monolongelo, that they take to the lady's house, and then it's given back to them before they return home. Okay. And then the second day, same thing happens. When the girl goes over to the groom's house, she's also accompanied by 2 or 3, sort of elders from the family, but not the biological parents, that carry imbale from their house to the groom's house, and these are also returned to them before they go back home that very same day. Okay, so they are saying that the reason they cannot have one reception is that they won't have the chance. Why is it so dark? They won't have the chance to, oh my gosh, to take imbale from the lady's house to the groom's to be's house if they only have that one reception on that wedding date. And in most cases, this reception is held at certain place, like maybe a hall in the closest or nearest town, and not at the bride's house. So then they won't get a chance to take imbale to the groom's house. So, but then my thing is, this can just be properly planned. What if you say from church already the groom to be's parents return home immediately after church, right? What if you get parents, or 2-3 representatives from the lady's house to go with the guy's parents when they return home, and go with imbale, and they will still make it back home for the reception, or from there then they go to wherever the reception is. They just go and go to wherever, go back home to go enjoy with everyone else that is at home, or go to the reception where the bride and groom is. That is very possible, especially for people that don't live so far from each other. Or the second scenario is, how about from church, y'all go to the lady's house, whoever needs to go to the lady's house goes to the lady's house, tamwi polupale, tamwi monti, tamumbongalo. From there, that's when you, instead of you going to the tent outside, you proceed straight to the guy's house. Since then, especially for those that live close to each other, so shamumbongalo at the lady's house, tamwi polupale. From there you proceed to the groom's house, tamwi monti, anu tavombongalo, tamwende polupale, and then from there, whip, everyone goes to the reception. And those that are going to chapula, momombo, ava veligumbo lokadona, they are at the lady's house, velimingo beliavo and whatever, ava from the groom to be's house, they are there, mingo beliavo, tavainjo ingongalo, and everyone that needs to go to the reception goes with the couple. So, because at the end of the day, people that have been together for so long have the same people in their circles. Their friends are each other's friends, so they just become, everyone is connected to everyone. And if people live close to each other, mostly I've seen people that have from the same village and they're having two receptions. Even their parents are friends, you know, their parents are friends, they share cousins. Why are you having two receptions? You have the same guests at on day 1 and on day 2. Imagine 200 to 250 guests, the same people. It doesn't make sense. And so the other thing is, someone said, no, the reason is that is to avoid bringing the bride home, you know, late. And so I say, at the end of the day, right, even if you have two receptions, you come home because people are always late anyways, and that day the bride doesn't even talk to the groom's parents or anything. You don't talk to them, they greet you in the crowd like everyone else. You only get to officially talk to them the following day. So what's the point? And from that tent, you only get into the house when it's like already late and everyone has gone back. So which late are you talking about? You know, the same time that you come from the tent to go into the house as the bride is the same time that you should come from the reception hall or wherever to the house, because at the end of the day you only meet your parents-in-law, officially talk to them the following day. So still not a valid reason. The other scenario is this. Okay, this is now, you know, when you have tried, you know, to make to make a one-day reception work, and you have tried and you have exhausted all the options to get the brides to leave the actual day of the wedding. So this is what we did, and I am just grateful for my family and my husband's family, because we decided to go for the one reception after our invitation cards were already out. And when we brought up the idea, no one from both sides tried to pressure us into having two receptions. But you know, we had a situation where we still had people that came for the second day to my husband's place, but maybe it's people that did not get, you know, the communication and the change of arrangements, or just, you know, the typical Vambos that just believe there should be a second day reception because they just don't want to accept that people can have one reception. But I believe if the planning is done right from the beginning, it's very possible. And so this is what we did, and it has saved us a lot of money. So if you realize that, okay, we can't get the bride to go to the groom's house, you know, on that same day, you can arrange. Now the second day, you don't have a second reception, you arrange for maybe 2 or 3 aunties to escort her when the husband comes to get her, to escort her with the imbalene. And you know, that balimbale, they get their imbales, they arrange, you know, lunch at the groom's house, they have lunch and they go back home. There's no need for another 200 to 250 guests and deco costs and tent and food and what. Honestly, because some reasons that I got are like, no, then that means and vomonkunda or lovoko side mati, they will not have the chance to vadanoango vuvatalonfuko. What? Should people really spend 50 to 70k because people want to see onfuko? Because people want okudanohango. So the scenario of coming from, you know, church to the bride's place, tavongbongalo tadanohango, to the groom's place, gengo popepi, tavongbongalo tadanohango, then everyone goes to the reception, then that gives everyone a chance But even if the house is far and people discover a common point where they want to have a reception and everyone is informed, they know kucha from church they are going to the reception and they are not going to go to the groom's house. If people agree and are well informed on time, people must not be forced to spend so much money because it doesn't even make sense. So I am saying imbale is not a valid reason because nothing deep happens bimbalo pongaho. It's not like this a ritual that happens what that is so serious that things cannot change around how imbaloyo is delivered. Because what is mimbalomo? Umuneke edu fila umangu, ilo fila ungava, ilo mavanda. The normal typical milongilo do mimbaleo hang. Honestly, it's just that it's a procedure that should be followed, but it's not that deep. Okay? Honestly. And I feel like it's really possible because the current era, or most of the people that are getting married now, are young, and most of the brides to be and grooms to be's parents are also younger compared to our grannies that came in the era of cheaper weddings. And so they understand life a little bit better, and they understand the costs that go into weddings now, and they understand how hard it is for people to raise money for them to just spend it like that. So I just feel like if we talk about it more, we should be able to find a way where we can make things work for people like me that would want to have an option to have one reception, and for those that want to have two receptions because they just want to, or they feel the need, or they understand that it is important, right? Because I don't. Should be given, obviously, by all means, the chance to have their two receptions. I'm just saying, for people that want to have one reception, it must not be imposed upon them to have two receptions if they don't want to. And if they see a way to make one reception work, they should be given a chance to do just that. So to conclude this video, I want to put an emphasis on the wedding costs now compared to wedding costs 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. Things have gone up so much, and even just the concept of weddings now is not the same anymore. People used to have decors with no flowers and things, or use plastic flowers, or the kind of chairs they use now. We use Tiffany chairs, or those luxury chairs, but people just used to use plastic chairs, tie covering. So things have changed, and those changes come at high costs. So to make this point and just make things make sense a little bit more, I'll try to go and get those quotes that I got for our wedding when we were looking for vendors, okay? And just see and put maybe insert those pictures in here, just so for those that have not really been close to someone planning a wedding, so they see in practicality how much weddings cost, photographers, decor, catering, all those kind of things, so that we just understand. So I forgot to mention that instead of having a whole reception for day 2, we decided to go with a small simple setup with minimal decor for just 50 guests, because we still wanted to have our bridal party with us, plus very few close friends of ours, and then now my aunts that were carrying imbale. So let's quickly go through the top 3 vendors that we got quotes from. Vendor number 1, day 1 quote was this one. Vendor number 1 still, day 2 quote was this one. And then vendor number 2, day 1 quote was this one. And then vendor number 2, day 2 quote was that 35 plus the day 1, they got that 68 total. And then vendor number 3, which is the vendor we went for, had this quote for 2 days, And before the whole revision of the 50 guests were added. And then after we revised, day one came to this, but this amount came after we also took out a lot of things, but increased the number of guests to from 200 to 250. But day one, from the 200 to 50 guests, we got to this 11K. So in the end, this saved us about 31,000 in total. It is not wrong for someone to have or to want, luxury, to want luxury on their wedding day. I am just saying it would be better if we, subtract the costs of wedding too. It will help us fund the things that are important to us. Because even for people like me that just like standard, or maybe it's because I can't afford luxury, but I like chilled things, which is why I am, advocating, for this to at least be made optional for people that are thinking like me or feel the way I feel. So even if you like chilled things, there are just things that are important to you that you would want, for your wedding. Maybe you want a certain dress that is a little bit pricey, or you want a ring that is a little bit pricey, but now you can't get that because you have 70, 60, 50K that you must spend on a reception that is feeding the same people you fed the previous day. You know what I mean? So it will give us, a little bit of room to accommodate things that are important to us. So obviously, men don't really care about much. They just want to make sure that their guys have booze and they get their wives, that's it. The other little things mostly, what the lady wants. Okay, but we also have men that like things, but that's okay. They must be able to get their things, and they will be able to get their things if they, don't have to pay for they do receptions. Costs are already so intense on the men because they have a lot. They have lobola to pay, they have the wedding gown to pay, they have the ring to buy. All those kind of things are on the shoulders of the men, depending on the kind of relationship that they are in. So some people fund their things together. They put money together and they buy their things from that common account or whatever. It doesn't matter, whatever the arrangement is. That is not what is important. The importance is that we can save so much money if we only have one reception. Oh, and lastly, the other thing that I've picked up that makes life difficult in most cases for couples are our church leaders. They are not willing to compromise. They are not willing to just understand people's situations in most cases, honestly, because I've had a situation where I had to go collect a letter from my church that would have been emailed, but they don't want to just scan and send me that letter. I should travel to go get that letter that I needed to attend marriage counseling. But when I got there, nothing was done. I found it already signed. They just handed it over to me. I just didn't understand why I had to waste so much time and money to travel and go get that letter that could have been sent to me. And so I'm not saying they should not follow procedures. I'm just saying they should try to understand, people's situations also, and just let's just try to meet each other halfway. Okay? They might make life really hard for couples in most cases. I've seen a situation where a pastor decided she's not going to marry, it was a lady, she's not going to marry a couple that she has not taught marriage counseling. Honestly, onu, most of us otuli kushimba, and we must go get married in the north. Now, how many times must I travel to the north to go attend marriage counseling when I have churches where I am that could help me with this and just, provide some sort of proof that I've attended marriage counseling? It just doesn't make sense. So let's just try and see how we can make this work and, you know, find a middle line where we can meet as, you know, the young ones, young adults, and our parents, try and meet each other halfway, so that we give, you know, an option to those people that want to have one day receptions for whatever reasons, whether it's costs, whether it's just, you know, people that feel it's not necessary, whatever the reason is. Let's just try and meet each other halfway, because at the end of the day, this is not only going to benefit our younger siblings or us now that we are getting married, or it's going to benefit us in the future as parents also, you know. Esha tukafukika at some point, because my kids are not going to be forced to have 2 days receptions if they don't want to, honestly. The other problem is also that I don't know who told Wambokucha, when someone gets married at magistrate, it's not a real wedding, and that marriage is not a real marriage. Because, you know, people honestly are just making life so hard for people to get married. If people can get married at magistrate and move on with their lives, what is wrong? People go to magistrate, get married, go to church, get the blessings that they need to get from the pastors, and they move on. They don't want to have a big wedding. What's the big deal? Honestly, why must we make life so hard for people? And then again, it's our parents that are complaining that nowadays kids don't value marriage. You are making life so hard and making it nearly impossible for people to get married because of your unrealistic, you know, expectations. Honestly, as a parent, you don't you feel for your kids? You are the one that wants them to give 100 granny's dresses, spend on, you know, whoever and whatever, things that are not important. Honestly, I have seen so many people that just want to go to magistrate, get married, and go to church and be blessed, you know, and move on with their lives, but their parents won't let them. Why is this, you know, an issue? Some people don't have the money. Some people don't just see the need to feed thousands of people because they want to get married. Some people have plans to spend their money on instead of, you know, having a big wedding. I don't see the problem in that. So please, let's just do better as parents, as future parents. Let's just make life easier for the people that are coming before us, so that we can just, you know, make this whole thing better and work. Thank you so much for tuning in, and that's goodbye.